everyone, so today I'm doing a very exciting video. In this video, I'm going to be testing out 7 of the top rated drugstore foundations and we're going to see how they wear on my face for a full day. The reason I decided to do a video like this was I was really curious on what the best drugstore foundations were, so I went on Google and I searched what are the best top rated drugstore foundations and I found 7 different ones, so enough for a full week. And basically I thought the best way to test them is to wear them for a full day using the same products, the same primer, same concealer, same setting powder with all of them and see how they wear differently. My goal for this video is to find some inexpensive good foundations for you guys because I know you guys ask me a lot like what foundation I'm wearing or like what drugstore foundations are good, so I think that this video will kind of like lay it out on what each foundation does, how it works with my skin tone, how it might work with yours. Hopefully it answers all of your guys' questions. So the 7 foundations I decided to try are these foundations. I'll quickly go through them and then we'll get into me wearing them for a week. So first foundation is the CoverGirl TrueBlend foundation. Then I have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte foundation, the Rimmel Stay Matte foundation, the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Plus Poreless foundation, the Milani 2-in-1 foundation, the NYX Total Control Liquid Drops foundation, and lastly the Revlon ColorStay foundation. There were some other foundations that I found online that were claimed to be some really good drugstore foundations, but I just picked 7 because I wanted a full week of foundations, so this is what we're going to be trying. So without further ado, let's get into trying these 7 foundations. Okay, so it is day 1 of trying 7 different drugstore foundations. Today I'm going to be trying the CoverGirl TrueBlend foundation. The shade I chose for myself is Classic Ivory and it looks like it's going to be a decent match. It might be a little bit yellow for me, but I think we'll be able to make it work. This foundation gets really mixed reviews. It has a lot of 5-star ratings and then it has a lot of 1-star ratings, so we're gonna see what it is for me. Each day I'm gonna be using the same products on my face for like setting spray, setting powder. So I'm gonna be using the Laura Mercier setting powder in translucent. I'm going to be using the NYX Finishing Setting Spray in Dewy, but it's basically empty, so it's pretty much just water now. For primer, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Paris Magic Perfecting Base. So on the CoverGirl website, it doesn't really claim much about this foundation. Basically just says that this product will look flawlessly nude and virtually disappears when blended in. Sorry, that sentence was like worded really weird. So it doesn't really specifically claim anything too crazy, so hopefully it'll just be a good foundation. I am really happy that this foundation has a pump. That goes a long way for me because foundations that don't have pumps just get so messy. I really appreciate a pump. Okay. All right, here's the consistency. Now we'll just blend it in. Okay, so here is the foundation all blended in. I would say that this is more of a oily satiny finish. You can see like that shine on my face. I would say that it is a light to medium coverage because I did do around 3 pumps of foundation, which is quite a bit for me anyways. And you can still see the redness in my cheek through, and you can still see some discoloration in my nose. But for the most part, it's a really pretty finish. So I will be right back with the finished set makeup and we can take a look at it. Okay, so here is the finished makeup. I put concealer under my eyes, but I didn't put it anywhere where the foundation is, like not on my chin or forehead where I would usually put it. I just didn't want to like affect the foundation or move it around or like give it an unfair advantage. I can really see my natural skin through it, which it did kind of claim to sort of go invisible and dissolve and just give you like a bit of coverage. Let's go into some lighting that isn't so direct. Okay, so here is the foundation. The good thing is it matches me pretty good. Around my nose is where I usually have the most problems with like crusting, and it doesn't look like that so far, but we will see how this looks at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm gonna be reporting back twice with each foundation. Once when I put it on and then at the end of the day after a full day of wear. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so it has now been a little over 9 hours of me wearing the CoverGirl TrueBlend foundation. And now I'm just gonna basically look at my face because actually it's kind of weird, but I haven't like looked in a mirror or in my phone pretty much all day. Can you tell by like my hair? Okay, let's take a look. So already I see some positives and some negatives. The first thing I will say is I usually would like a bit more coverage than this. I can really see my rosacea coming through my cheeks and some of the acne scars that I have around my mouth. I can still see it through the foundation. And I did say this was more light to medium, and I would say after a bit of wear, it's more a light coverage. Do you kind of see what I'm talking about where there's no cakiness in here? Usually I have a lot of that. Throughout the week, you might see more of that. but right here, this is where the light coverage is, see? I will say though, since it is kind of an oily finish, it didn't really cake up at any parts of my face. Like usually I have a problem with a lot of cakiness around my nose and in my smile lines. And it's kind of weird because I don't even have smile lines right now, which is kind of really a freak accident for me because almost every single foundation I've ever tried in my lifetime, I've had smile lines. But then again, I do usually wear medium to full coverage. Depending on what you guys would like, I would say this foundation has an oily finish. You can set it obviously, but if you have oily skin, it might not mix well. It does look kind of satiny once you set it. That's kind of what it looks like right now for me. But keep in mind, I have normal to dry skin. So packaging wise, it's pretty great. Like it has a pump and it's glass. So I don't know, depending on what you guys prefer, I think this is pretty good. Price, $12.99, like that is really great seeing how there's 1 fluid ounce in here. If you're used to a light coverage foundation and that's kind of what you prefer, I think that this foundation would be very good. Just keep in mind it is a bit oilier when you put it on your skin, so you would have to set it or be aware of what kind of skin type you have to work with this foundation. But for the most part, I quite liked it. I think that it's better for like an everyday wear more than just like if you're like getting ready and going out, I would want a bit more coverage. But that's also personal preference for me. If you guys like a lighter coverage, this would be great. And another thing I will say is I didn't feel it on my skin at all. Like I can't feel it. It's not like heavy feeling, so that's good. So yeah, now we're just gonna switch to the next day and try another foundation. So I am back to try yet another drugstore foundation. Today I'm going to be trying the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. It's a little bit gloomy outside, like there's really no sun shining. It's all cloudy and foggy, so hopefully the lighting is okay. Okay, so I am super excited to try this foundation because so many YouTubers say that this is their go-to drugstore foundation. Like it's almost comparable to high-end, and I have never tried it in my life. I don't even think I've ever tried a L'Oreal foundation. I don't know why. So what it says on the website says this is a 24-hour foundation. We're not going to be testing it for 24 hours, more like 10 hours. It contains shine-defying blotting spheres that act like blotting paper, instantly absorbing sweat and oil without disturbing color pigments, and it claims to be medium coverage. So what I get from that is that this foundation is probably going to work well with all skin types, but also oily skin types. Unlike the last foundation we used, this might be a little bit better for people who have oily skin, but then again, I don't know because I haven't tried it yet. I got mine in the shade 101 Classic Ivory. My go-to packaging for foundation is a pump, but my second favorite is definitely a squeezy tube. As long as I'm not pouring it out, I'm happy, and I believe that that's what this is. I've yet to open this, it's brand new. So this is 1 fluid ounce, so that's pretty much the regular. Look at this design I'm making. My first thought is it came out of the tube more watery than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be kind of a thick seeming foundation, but it was kind of more smooth than I thought it was gonna be, which is a good thing. Okay, so here is the foundation all blended in on my skin. Let me take a quick look because so far, I think it looks like really good. Oh yeah, it looks quite pretty. I would say that the finish is kind of a matte to satiny finish. I wouldn't say that it's matte to the point where my skin looks really dry and crusty, which is a positive, but it does look like the foundation oxidized just a bit on my face. Like it went on my exact shade, and then as I left it on, it kind of got a little bit orange. Probably can't see that, but I can see that like in real life. I'm gonna go finish the rest of my makeup and then I will be back to report how it's sitting after it sets, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I am done the rest of my makeup. The one thing that I did add that I didn't do with the other foundation yesterday is I took just the Becca highlighter and I just booped it on my nose. I didn't put it on my cheeks or anything, so just if you guys see a little bit of highlight, that's what it is. Like I'm looking at it and it really reminds me of the Too Faced Born This Way, and I loved that foundation until it broke me out. So this looks like kind of the same consistency and like feeling to it. So if this is like a dupe for that, that would be really crazy, and if it didn't break me out, that would be even better, giving me even a bit more redness to my face and orangey, whereas usually I like to counteract that because my skin is already kind of red. But that's not really a huge deal. That's just kind of a shade issue. So anyways, I will report back with you guys at the end of the day with how this is sitting on my face and how it fares throughout the day. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so it has been a little over 9 hours of wearing the, where is it? the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation, and I actually went to the drugstore today and I saw that they have a Pro Glow foundation, so maybe for the people with drier skin. Here, let me just quickly look. Usually after a long day I have smile lines, and the smile lines I do have a bit, but they are minimal compared to what I usually have. The biggest thing is I usually have like crustiness down here. I know that sounds so gross, but maybe people with drier skin will understand my struggles. But with this foundation, I didn't get that, so that always is pretty impressive. I actually think that it's quite nice. I'm definitely gonna give this foundation a 9.5 out of 10. It checks pretty much every box for me. I think I'm definitely gonna try the Pro Glow just because I like a more dewier look for like the rest of my face. But it's a medium coverage. I think it would work well with dewy skin types and also dry skin types because mine's more normal to dry, and it also worked with me. But I think it would work with dewy too because it's a Pro Matte and it seems to try and mattify the skin, so I'm thinking that that would help with dewy. And the price point is great. The only negative I have for this foundation is I think that the color range is very, very limited. It looked like it was more accessible to olive skin tones, and that's like just a small range. Like it felt like if you were very, very white like I am, or if you are very, very dark, there wasn't very many selections of foundations. Maybe that was just my drugstore, but it looked like there were maybe 12 shades. I'll correct myself right here how many shades there are. Even with the undertone, you can see it's not the right color, but this was the lightest foundation that was offered. But if you can find your color, it's well worth the money. So on to the next day of trying the third foundation. Okay, so it is time to try the third foundation, and that is going to be the Rimmel Stay Matte. This was only $6.99. First, I'm gonna Google it, like I always do, just to see what it claims to do. It says that this foundation is $3.18 at Ulta. Where I got it, it was $6.99, so it might even be like less expensive other places, so that's good to know. It'll keep your skin silky smooth, perfectly matte, and it has a baby soft finish. It's a lightweight texture, won't feel heavy or greasy, and it minimizes the appearance of pores, and it's oil-free. So that's good to know that it claims to minimize pores, because I have quite a few pores around my nose, so I'll be a good candidate for that. It's a liquid mousse foundation, so the consistency should be a little bit thicker than a liquid. So let's just go ahead and try this out. Once again, there's 1 fluid ounce in here, and I got mine in the shade Light Ivory. Oh wow, it's like very thick feeling. Okay, so here is the foundation blended in. I'm just gonna go ahead and put my concealer on and let this set for a little while, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about it, just so that I don't judge too quickly. This is a personal preference, but I kind of feel like I'm not super in love with the finish just because it is so matte. There are like matte satin finishes that I don't mind, but this feels almost super matte to the point where it almost looks a bit chalky on my skin. If you guys know that you really like the really matte finish, this foundation will probably be really good for you because it's the finish you prefer. It is so matte and my skin is already dry. It's not really mixing too well, but we will see how it fares throughout the day, and I will report back after wearing this foundation for a lot longer. So I'll see you guys then. Okay, so it has been 10 hours of me wearing the Rimmel Stay Matte foundation. I have yet to look at my face close up, so let me do that quickly. I will say one thing. My mom actually said to me, because she knew I was trying foundation, she said, "Oh, Mia, you're not gonna like that foundation." And I asked her like why, and she said, because it looks cakey and patchy on your skin. And I can see what she's talking about. It is really cakey right here. You can really see the foundation. It looks like a buildup of powder on my face, so I don't like that. I actually have the crust around my nose that I was telling you guys about, so I'm happy you guys will get to see that. See the buildup on my face just from it looking kind of cakey. Honestly, I really wanted to like this because it's so inexpensive, but I just can't say I like it. It's too matte for me, and even with being matte, it feels really patchy and cakey. Like you can really tell that I'm wearing foundation. It's not really doing me any favors. I will say it has good coverage still. Give it a 6.5 out of 10. If you guys have tried this and maybe you have oilier skin or liked it more, comment down below and let me know if I'm missing something. I don't really know. I just personally didn't really like this one, so this one's definitely in the bottom. So anyways, on to the next foundation. Okay, so today we are trying the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation, and I obviously haven't tried this. Most of these I haven't tried. With just a few drops, our Total Control Drop Foundation delivers sheer to full coverage and a velvety matte finish. So that's pretty interesting that it says sheer to full coverage, because those are like two very different things. Simply adjust the number of drops you use until the desired level of coverage is achieved. More drops equals more coverage. Okay, so here's what it looks like. 0.43 fluid ounces, so it's a little bit less than the other foundations. This is like a really frosty container. This reminds me of, these are like almost the exact same. So I got mine in the shade TCDF06 Vanilla, so shade Vanilla. I instantly just started sweating because this just feels like a stressful application. But okay, so let's just, oh my gosh, it is so liquidy. I need to go wet this quickly. Okay, so here is the foundation pretty much blended in. By the way, you guys might not consider NYX a drugstore foundation, but I definitely do consider it a drugstore foundation because it is sold at drugstores. But yeah, this foundation was $16, and so it was the most expensive drugstore foundation that we're gonna be trying. It is a little bit powdery looking, which is weird because it was a liquid dropper and it was really liquidy, and it's already kind of building up in my nose right here. But okay, I'm gonna try and keep an open mind throughout the day, so I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the day, and I will touch back with you guys at the end of the day and see how it's looking and how I like it. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so it is now the end of the day, so I'm gonna take a look at how my foundation's looking. Okay, I just wanna say one thing. When I first put it on, I wasn't super in love with the finish that it gave, but throughout the day I would walk past mirrors and I would like kind of take like a double take because my skin really did look smooth and satiny finish, and it is really soft to touch. The only negative that I do have is it does kind of cake up in certain spots. Just around my nose, it's kind of crusting and like falling off. That is like the grossest description ever, but that's kind of what it's doing. I think I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 just because I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think it looks good as a natural looking foundation. Like if I wanted to do like a no makeup look, I would probably reach for this. See what I'm talking about with being able to see my skin underneath. Also around the nose. Ooh, this looks so bad. Oh. This close-up is not doing this foundation any favors. I actually might have to lower the score to a 6 out of 10. Look at that. It really didn't sit well on my face. Maybe it needs a specific primer, I don't know. So that's what I have to say about the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. Now on to the next foundation. Okay guys, so we are nearing the end of our week of drugstore foundations. Today we're gonna be trying the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Plus Poreless Foundation. I got mine in the shade 110, which is the lightest shade, so hopefully it works for me. Okay, so out of 5 on the Maybelline website, this has 4.4 stars. Basically, it says beyond matching your skin tone, it matches your skin's texture, and it has 16 shades, which is their most diverse ever. So what it says is it blurs pores and controls shine. Oh my gosh, my nails are still like this. I am so sorry. If it's like how I remember, it doesn't have a, no, it doesn't have a pump. That's kind of a negative, but I'm just taking it out like this just because it's easier than pouring it for me. Oh wow, it's actually blending out really nice. It looks like kind of a satiny finish. It's not super drying. So far I really like it, so I'll finish the rest of my makeup, then I'll be right back. Here is the finished makeup with the foundation set. I did use a little bit of the NYX bronzer just because this shade is a bit light for me. Surprising, I know. I'm the lightest shade usually, but it was a little light. I will say after it's set down, it feels really soft. I would say that it is medium coverage because it didn't completely cover the blemishes on my nose, but it did a pretty good job for just being foundation, no concealer over anything. It isn't creasing in here. It's not looking dry. It looks pretty smooth. We'll see how it wears throughout the day, so I will check back at the end of the day. Okay guys, so it has been a full day, and let me just firstly address the elephant in the room. What is my hair? My mom actually just like randomly did this to my hair. And I just painted my nails, so I like can't really take it out right now without like smudging my nails, so I'm just gonna leave it. But anyways, okay, so I've been wearing the Maybelline Fit Me foundation all day long, and let me take a quick look at it because I have yet to really analyze my face. I will say that I think that this is one of the more higher rated foundations. Like I think it's one of the better drugstore foundations that we've tried, just because it feels like it would be good for all skin types, because my skin's dry and even on their website it said like it would be good for dewy skin too. And this is a really big thing for me, but the shade didn't oxidize on my face. I have found that that happens a lot and I just really don't like it. And probably nobody likes when their foundation oxidizes, so this one didn't oxidize on me, so as far as I know it doesn't oxidize. So yeah, let's flip to the last foundation we have to try. The sun is kind of like beating down on me right now, like as you can see there's like shadows, but hopefully that won't affect how it looks on camera. But anyways, today I'm trying the Revlon ColorStay foundation. I actually used to use this foundation back in like grade 9, but when I used to use it, it didn't have a pump, so I'm happy that they changed that. I don't know if they changed the formula since then, they might have. Okay, so what it says online about this foundation is it says it's for combo/oily skin, so mine's normal to dry, so already it's like the complete opposite. This foundation features soft flex technology that will not rub off with normal wear. It's an oil-free formula, looks fresh, feels natural, and controls excess oils. So if you guys have oily skin, this looks like it was made for you. It doesn't really say on here what the coverage should be, so I'll just guess once I put it on. Okay, so it's a little bit liquidy. I think I did about 2 pumps. Okay, hopefully that lighting change isn't too bad. I just shut my blind because the sun was actually like hurting my eyes, but here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup and then I will be right back to see the foundation set on my skin. Okay, so here I'm done my makeup. The foundation has had time to set. Honestly, so far I'm liking the foundation, the way that it sits, but I will say that it probably would work better if you had oily skin, just because it does look a bit dry around my nose. So that's probably why it's formulated for more oily combination skin. But so far I don't mind it, but we will see how it fares throughout the day. I will see you guys at the end of the day. Okay you guys, so it has been so long of me wearing this foundation. Like seriously, it is so late right now. I will say it held up pretty good. I wasn't too sure about this foundation. It stayed around my nose. It got a little bit crusty, but not too bad. I think I did wear it for like quite a long time. So I think I'm actually gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I think this has a lot of potential depending on your skin type. You guys would probably really like this, and if you're looking for a medium coverage foundation, I would say go with this. So anyways, on to the next foundation. Okay you guys, so we are on to our last foundation, and that is the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 foundation, and I have mine in the shade 01 Creamy Vanilla, and I actually fake tanned a bit last night just because this foundation has always been a bit dark for me. I'm pretty sure it is the lightest shade, so just be aware if you are really pale, their lightest shade is like pretty dark. This foundation retails for $12.99 and it is marketed as a concealer and foundation, so to some people that would worry them because it's like you're putting concealer all over your face, and for other people they take that as it being full coverage. Also, this foundation is apparently water resistant, and that is all I have to say about this foundation. That's all it says online about it. And oh, it's medium to full coverage and it's oil free. Oh yeah, it's quite thick. Hopefully it doesn't oxidize because it's already quite dark for me. I am gonna use concealer that is a bit lighter just to even it out a bit because I do feel a bit dark. So yeah, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna finish my makeup. Okay, so here is the finished makeup. The foundation honestly set very nice. It's really smooth looking. I will say I think it definitely is medium to full coverage, which is a good thing for me. I usually like medium coverage, so I will touch back at the end of the day. Okay you guys, so it has been a full day. It's actually like 1 o'clock at night right now and I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna wrap this up decently quick, but let's take a look at the Milani foundation after a long day. So one thing that I can't really judge super well is I went outside and it was really cold, so I was like wiping my nose a bit, so a bit off the tip is off, but like can't seriously judge that because I was like aggressively rubbing my face. I will say though, like from what is still on my face after I rub my face a lot, it's not creasing and my smile lines are quite minimal, which is nice. I really do think this foundation did do well though, under all the conditions of today. I'm definitely gonna give this foundation an 8.5 out of 10 just because I really liked the way it applied. I liked the coverage. The one thing I will say though is I really didn't like the range of colors, just that this was the lightest shade. I think is a bit too dark, but I will say that I don't know how dark it does get in the collection, but maybe the darker shades are more accessible. I don't really know, but for me, being really light, this is too dark. I'm just gonna be completely honest, this foundation really reminds me of the Born This Way Too Faced foundation, but that one broke me out. This one has not. So now I'm gonna switch over and tell you guys my final thoughts and what my recommendations are. Let's go. Okay, so it has been a full week of wearing these drugstore foundations, and I think I have my final thoughts on them all put together. I think after wearing them, I have a better understanding of it, and after like seeing how they compare to others. So let me just quickly say my 2 cents. Now keep in mind when I give my opinion, it is based on my skin type. Everyone has different skin types. So if you guys have had like a different experience, or one of these foundations worked really well on you or really bad, sound off down below, because let's all try and figure out like what foundation is good for each other, because as you guys know, I have normal to dry skin. I have a bit of oils, but for the most part, normal to dry. But anyways, okay, the foundations that I would request to you guys are the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, the Milani 2-in-1, Revlon ColorStay, and L'Oreal Infallible. I don't personally know the color selection for each of these foundations depending on your skin tone, so you'll have to look into it, but hopefully from at least one of these there will be a skin tone that matches you. So these are the foundations that I felt sat the best on my face. They didn't crease as badly as some of the other ones, and also I felt like they looked kind of natural on my skin. The L'Oreal Infallible foundation was seriously one of the best foundations that I've tried from the drugstore, mainly because I think that it really glided on smooth. It made my face feel smooth, and it didn't hardly crease at all, and it had good coverage. The only thing I'll say is the color selection was very red. I really don't think that these are bad foundations at all. I just think personally they weren't really my type. This one was pretty good. I will say though, for this one, I didn't think the coverage was heavy enough for me. So if you guys like light coverage, this one could pretty much be in the top 4 too. But this one, I will say personally, I think this is really just personal preference, because I've heard people rave about how great this is, but for me personally, it was hard to build to a coverage that I like, because I usually like medium coverage, whereas I felt like even after putting multiple drops, I still had light coverage. The literal only foundation that I will not be suggesting to you guys is the Rimmel Stay Matte. Now, keep in mind, if you guys use this foundation, or you really like this foundation, or if you're curious of it, for sure, try it, you know what I mean? But personally for me, it really was cakey, and I think actually the reason that this was so bad for me was because it was super matte. I like when a foundation claims to be matte, but it's kind of satiny, whereas this was very matte to the point where it looked kind of cakey on my skin, and going along with having dry patches and dry skin, this really fell into those patches, so it just wasn't good for me. If you guys have a different skin type, or if this worked well for you, comment down below and let me know. But honestly, I feel confident in suggesting any of these 5 foundations, even the CoverGirl one, even though I put that in a lower category. I think it actually is pretty good, just remembering I quite liked it. So yeah, that is all my final thoughts on these foundations. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below and help some other people if you've tried some other drugstore foundations you really like, so we can help everyone find some inexpensive alternatives, because I know, like, if you're anything like me, you go through foundation decently quick and you don't like spending $50 on a new bottle. Hopefully this helped you guys to know like what these foundations offer and what their pros and cons are. I hope that was kind of the point of the video, so I hope it came across like that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to click the subscribe button. And if you guys want a video like this where I try like drugstore setting powders or drugstore eyeliners or mascaras or something, comment it down below and I'll be sure to do that. Or if you guys want to see a video like this for like high-end makeup, I don't know, I'm open to suggestions. But anyways, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!